Have you ever struggled to get the jump on opponents? Maybe your aim assist is a little bit faulty at times and it loses at random points. Do you feel like you've gotten worse ever since you started playing Modern Warfare 3 from moving on from Modern Warfare 2? Well, in today's video, I've got you guys the absolutely best Modern Warfare 3 settings. And there has been a lot of secret changes from the Modern Warfare 2 settings to the Modern Warfare 3 settings that will allow you to have even stickier aim, prevent your stick drift from even happening, and secret settings to improve your slide canceling ability so you can take advantage of the new movement mechanics here in Modern Warfare 3. And one thing to note, the MGB nuke is back here in Modern Warfare 3 and it looks beautiful here on terminal. If you're ready to improve your gameplay, raise your KD, and potentially get one of these nukes for yourselves, then make sure you guys stay tuned. Let's rock and roll. So what's up guys, it's Terry here by Nino or Quadigy, and welcome to my first best settings video for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3 is going to be out early for people in New Zealand, and I actually managed to have the game myself, but even if you don't have the game early, you can actually apply some new settings that before the game comes out because you're able to access Call of Duty HQ through the Modern Warfare 3 menu and access your settings here. And there's some new settings that you guys got to know about, and I'm going to give you guys here for today's video. And luckily these settings will apply to any platform. In fact, I'm here on my PC at the moment, but when it comes to the graphics settings, not only will I show you PC graphics settings, but also console settings, and I'll show you controller settings, audio settings. I'll basically show you settings that you need for whatever platform you're on, and I hope that today's video helps improve your KD, your gameplay style, and hope you have more fun here on Modern Warfare 3, as you guys saw from the intro clip. So if you're excited to perform at the best of your ability here in Modern Warfare 3 for the rest of the year, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn on those post notifications. I do have Modern Warfare 3 early, so I'm going to give you guys the best class setups, the best tips to get camos fast, just general gameplay progression tips, and fun and entertainment value within my videos, so you guys can have a smile on your face every single day while you enjoy my videos and play some MW3. So thank you for being here. We're on the road to 300k, and I hope you'll be along for the ride. We hit 200k during MW2, so can we do it again with MW3? You guys will be the deciding factors of that. But without further ado, let's talk about my settings. I do play on a controller, so sorry to any of my keyboard and mouse players, but when it comes to my edit button layout, I do play on bumper jumper tactical flipped. And I highly recommend this button layout, or you can even use stick and move flipped or whatever else. And if you want to flip it, you just go over here where it says flip L1, R1, R2. And the reason why I play on bumper jumper tactical flipped is, in case you're wondering, I use just a regular controller, nothing special on it. But because I use bumper jumper, I can press L2 to jump and be more effective with my jump shots. I can press L1 to aim it extremely fast rather than holding down L2. I can shoot with R1, being a lot more snappy with it. And then I can use the R3 or the right stick in order to, dive, drop shot, or whatever more effectively. So this allows me to be more fluid with the movement that's introduced in Modern Warfare 3, and I'll play on my opponents all the way to the best of my ability. I've been playing this way since Black Ops 3 back in 2015, so I've been playing with this button layout for the last 8 years, and it's truly made me a more spectacular player, and the same can happen to you. I will say it's a little weird to get used to. It might take you like a couple of weeks to get used to, but once you get used to it, you will thank me later, when it comes down to it. And in case you guys are wondering, I do have a control freak on there. You guys can use code HERO for control freaks. And you can also use code HERO for aimcontrollers.com as well if you want like a special controller. That's a little bit more customizable, but just had to plug that in there. Bumper ping will be off. We don't really use that. Stick layout preset default. Controller vibration off. You can have it on if you want. I just don't think it really helps you in any way. It's more of a placebo kind of thing. Controller vibration, I have it off because vibration doesn't really add to anything. You can play well while having it on or off. It's just a preference at the end of the day, like most of these settings are. I just don't like it when my controller moves because I feel like if I have no freaking vibration, I can control my guns better or something. It's kind of funny. Now here's one of the new features that they've added with the world of Modern Warfare 3. So with these Deadzone inputs, you can now be way more accurate in terms of like maximizing your maximums and your minimums when it comes to your control sticks. So as you guys can see here, I have these settings optimized to have 6 for left stick min, max at 85, right stick min, and right stick max 85. So we're gonna focus on these 4 first. This is very important. So you can choose to have it all the way at 100. This allows you to pretty much have full control. But if you decrease the value, This allows you to reach maximum input a lot faster, and thus you're going to be a lot more snappier with your aim with a lower maximum. So that's why I have it at 85. I don't have it, you know, too low, because then I could overshoot my shot and be too inaccurate. But because it's right in the middle, I'm going to have a little bit more increased speed and velocity while moving my left stick and my right stick, so that I can make the moves necessary to be on aim for my targets or to get into a certain direction. Now, when it comes to these left stick and right stick minimums, this will depend on the quality of your control sticks. And that's the beauty of this test stick Deadzone thing, because this allows you to know, you know, if there's something wrong with your control sticks. This allows you to kind of eliminate stick drift, which is very prevalent in controller players. So to start off, we're gonna keep it at 0 and 0. What you wanna do is put left stick min and right stick min at 0. And then when you go over here to test stick Deadzone, as you guys can see from the numbers on the bottom of the control sticks or whatever, it's constantly moving. And as you guys can see here, I am not touching my controller. So I do have some stick drift associated with my sticks here. So in order to mitigate that, we see that the numbers are saying somewhere between -1, -2, 3, 4, whatever the case is. So let's go ahead and turn that off, and then we're going to put them to 5, because then in essence, that should more than overcompensate for the stick drift that I have. So right here, I'm not holding my controller, and we're going to go ahead and test the stick Deadzone once again. And there you go. It's like magic. Now I have no stick drift. I have nothing potentially harming my aim, and this will give me even better aim here in Modern Warfare 3. I love that they added this, because it was kind of like just a guess and check when it came to Modern Warfare 2 and every COD beforehand, but here you have the technical prowess to know exactly how much stick drift you have, and you'll be way better at aiming at the game. So definitely mess around with this. Obviously, this is what is more certain to mine. You know, 5 and 5 works for me, but for you, you might have a shit ton of stick drift, so you might put on 10 and 10 or whatever the case is. But this is really nice, and I recommend it highly. And when it comes to these left triggers and right triggers, this just depends if you want your left trigger to be a lot more snappy or less snappy. Less snappy would mean left trigger being hella high, and more snappy would be more lower. I always like it right in the middle, just because I don't want to overcompensate at times, and I'm kind of like slippery with my fingers. So I put it on 6 and 6, but if you want to be super snappy, just put it at 0. You know, it's up to you at the end of the day how you want to have that. Moving onwards to the aiming sensitivities here, we got 8 and 8, just so I'm not too fast and not too slow. This allows me to aim at my opponents more directly and be on target, and allows me to turn on people when needed. The advantages of having a sensitivity at all the way at 20 is that you can be very snappy and turn on people, but you might not have the best aim at that point. Or the opposite can be said about a low sensitivity. You'll be extremely good at aiming, but when somebody sneaks up on you, you might get screwed over. So having it right in the middle, in my opinion, is the best way to go about it. Obviously, play to whatever you feel like is the best, and just test out every sensitivity, like go up by 2 or go down by 2 for like a week or something, and see what you feel like your best accuracy is at and your best turn-on potential. But when it comes to sensitivity multipliers, we got that 1. When it comes to vertical aim axis, we got that at standard. Aim response curve type, dynamic has always been the best one. It's been statistically the one that gives you the best, stickiest aim assist. It's what all the pro players use, and it's what I've been using since Modern Warfare 2019 as well. There's been a lot of videos done on this in the past, and nothing really much has changed on this front, so dynamic is the way to go. Once again, maybe you're better on standard or linear. Use whatever you feel like works best. Moving on, we got custom sensitivity per zoom here, which I like having the low zoom and 2x, 3x zoom optics at 0.9 so that I have a little bit more better aim. But for the higher zoom optics, I have it at 1.20 so I can be more snappy, and so that like I'm not annoyed by having slow snipers or whatever the case is. I could basically drag my scope a lot quicker. Target aim assist on. Of course, aim assist is overpowered in this game. Controller players get keyboard and mouse players mad for this reason, so have it on. Aim assist type, I'd recommend default, but you could also use Black Ops. I don't recommend precision or focusing. Precision could be good for sniping, but you lose aim assist in certain instances with both of these controller settings on, so I'll say default or Black Ops is your best one. I just leave it on default. Third person ADS correction type, just put it on assist. And then I don't mess with motion sensor aiming. This is basically gyro behavior. You can mess around with that if you want. Not really something that I'm going to involve myself with. Now in the gameplay section, automatic sprint off. I don't like having automatic sprint or auto move forward because I'm not in full control of my movement at that point. I'd rather be in more full control than rather have the game choose to move for me or not. And this might hurt me when it comes to campers. So having it off will allow you to turn on campers a lot more quickly and be more alive in your gunfights, you know, win more gunfights, I guess you could say. And then toggle, double tap, grounded mantle on, airborne mantle off, ground mantle hang off, slide/dive behavior. Nice little playlist update. Now, when it comes to slide/dive behavior, there's a new setting that allows you to slide only. And this makes it so that you don't dive at all and that there's less of a delay between your slides. This essentially kind of gives you Modern Warfare 2019 movement, and you can be a lot more snappy with this. I don't even find myself diving that much. You might see yourself diving a little bit more, you know, maybe in like Vondel or something whenever the integration comes in. But sliding only is really good for multiplayer. And I highly recommend you use this because this sliding is super effective as a movement mechanic, especially in this game. Plunging underwater, we got trigger, parachute auto deploy. I think by default it'll give you plane only, but I just say off is the best way to go. Sprinting door bash on, ledge climb behavior, mantle only, slide cancel sprint. Press R3 to slide and cancel sprint, which allows you to crouch. This allows you to pretty much slide cancel, which is really nice. Or you can have it off depending on whatever you want to play on. And then aim down sights behavior, hold. All this I think is by default if I'm not mistaken. Tac stance activation. I usually have this off because there's really no point in having this on. But you might need to have this on for, you know, camos or something. So, you know, have it on to whatever combination you want. But I'm gonna have it off because I don't find a use in it personally. Maybe with certain guns, you know, we'll see in the future of my channel when I decide to use it. Interact/reload behavior for multiplayer. Use tab to reload. This allows you to just, you know, play the game as effectively as you can. But if you're playing Warzone in the future, prioritize interact allows you to loot faster, pick up things faster, and interact faster. And that will be perfect for Warzone. But because multiplayer is the only thing available right now, stick to tab to reload. Armor plate behavior, apply all. ADS stick swap off. When it comes to backpack control, I know this is Warzone talk right here. Stick might be very effective. It just depends how fast and like how the auto move forward will put you when it comes to this backpack control. But I'm interested to see how this works when Warzone comes around. Because right now in multiplayer, there's no really use in this. But it will be interesting to see. I think stick might be the move. We'll have to wait and see. Depleted ammo switch on. Quick C4 detonation grouped. Manual fire behavior. So this applies to semi-automatic weapons or maybe even burst weapons. And you can actually have the game hold manual fire behavior for you when it comes to single shot guns, which is kind of crazy. So if you have trouble having a good trigger finger, you can just put it on hold and the game will basically shoot for you, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But I recommend press because I assume hold won't give you the fastest fire rate. And if you do it yourself, you might have a faster fire rate than whatever the automatic hold is going to be. But that's pretty interesting that they put that in the game. I'm definitely going to have to experiment with that depending on the gun. And everything here is kind of personal preference. And there you go. That is our controller settings. And now let's go to our PC graphics settings. To start things off, I do have a PC with a 3080 Ti. And these are my specs that you guys are seeing on screen right now. I play on a 144Hz monitor with 1440p resolution. So I really take advantage of my frames and my resolution. And there's nothing else you really got to see here. When it comes to NVIDIA reflex low latency, I would recommend on. Some PCs perform better with off or on plus boost, but that's something you just gotta kind of experiment with yourself. But most PCs, I feel like, will do better on. Just have it on. When it comes to eco mode preset, you could either use custom or low consumption or efficiency. I just have it on custom. And then VSync off over here, and then custom frame limit, I just have 50, 60, and 30. And all of this is kind of dependent on your build and stuff. But now moving over to quality. Render resolution, you guys might be wondering, Hero, why do you have it at 90 and not 100? Is because I stream and record all on my single PC. So I want to be able to get as many frames as possible, and I can sacrifice some of my resolution because I do play on 1440p, which means the screen is still going to look really good. I do recommend if you play on 1080 on your PC or whatever, that you have it at 100 because you do need that decent resolution, especially because you know, it's going to be harder to see opponents if you lower it any more than that. But if you're having trouble with frames and you're at 1440 like me, then, or if you're even on 1080 and you want some more frames, then, you know, sacrifice some resolution and you'll be okay. Especially in multiplayer, there's not really too many long distances. When it comes to dynamic resolution off, upscaling / sharpening, you want to put this at Fidelity FX Cast with 90 being the number. VRAM scale target 80 is what I like doing, or you can put it at a 90. Kind of just gotta experiment with that. Variable rate shading, I haven't had too much time to test this, but I'm gonna put it on. Maybe there'll be better results with it having off, but I think for now 80 is gonna be, or on is gonna be the way to go. I don't know why I just said that. Texture resolution low. This is pretty much gonna allow us to have the best frames possible, what I'm gonna tell you guys right here. Another playlist update, wow. But texture resolution low, texture filter anisotropic normal, depth of field off, detail quality level low, particle resolution normal, bullet impacts on, persistent FX on. I just have these on so I can see tracers and show you guys how they look like. Shader quality low, on-demand texture streaming off, local texture streaming quality low, shadow quality very low, SSR or screen space shadows rather off, ambient occlusion off, screen SSR off, static reflection quality low, tessellation off, terrain map memory at max because this allows you to see things at farther ranges a lot more easily, and this is going to be useful for any longer range kills. Volumetric quality low, deferred physics quality off, weather grid volumes low, and wave wetness for water quality. And then going over to view, FOV, I like having it at max. I want to be able to see as many of my environment, as much of my environment as possible. That's why I have it on. But when it comes to ADS field of view, I actually run on independent. Some other YouTubers will tell you to run on affected, which is really nice as well because when you ADS, you keep that 120 FOV, which is nice for seeing the surrounding area. But usually when you're ADSing, you're focusing in on something, and that's where I think independent really comes in clutch. When you're on independent ADS field of view, your ADS basically goes to 80 FOV. And this allows everything to be magnified and bigger in scale so that you can see your opponents or whatever a lot more easily. So if I'm aiming down sights, I'm trying to focus in on something, I'm trying to kill somebody or something. So they're going to appear a lot bigger, and that's going to be able to allow me to get that kill a lot faster or more easily, I guess you could say. So I think independent is a lot better because it allows me to just be ready for any sort of situation. But if you want to play unaffected, go for it. You just won't be a cool kid like me. When it comes to weapon field of view, you want this at wide so the weapon looks as small as possible. Third person field of view, you want this at 90 just to kind of max things out. Vehicle field of view wide for obvious reason, making it as small as possible. You do not want to have any sort of motion blur at all, because if you have either weapon or world motion blur, you can see that the world becomes kind of blurry, and you might have difficulty seeing somebody around that corner if you're moving around like a freaking maniac and just blur it all around. So you're gonna lose more gunfights. The game might look kind of cool, but there's just no point in having blur on unless you're playing like campaign or something. When it comes to film grain, pretty much the same reason, 0. First person and third person camera movement should both be at least 50%. You do not want to have at 100 because that's going to give you a lot of shakiness in your camera and essentially more recoil, so you don't want to mess with that. And then everything else here is personal preference, including inverted flashbang. Do you want the white flashbang, or do you want your screen to go dark instead so you don't lose your vision? Up to you at that point. And now that we've finished here, let's go to the PS5 and show you guys my console settings so you guys can apply it to your consoles. Okay, so here we are now on my PS5 to show you guys the graphics settings for consoles. And on the Mac texture streaming is going to be off. World motion blur and weapon motion blur, you don't want to have these on because blur just hurts you. I explained more in depth within the PC section. Film grain off for the same reason. Depth of field off once again for the same reason. Fidelity FX cast, you want to have that on. And 100 might be a little bit too strong, but 90 is usually where I like having it personally, just to bring the game a little bit better in terms of contrast and making it look nicer so you can locate your opponents better. Sustainability, efficiency isn't the way to go. I would say off is the better way to go when it comes to eco mode preset here. And then moving onwards, when it comes to playing on PS5 or Xbox Series X/S, if you have the means to and the monitor to do so, put on the 120 Hz refresh rate. This will allow you to double your frame rate, allowing you to be more closer in line against PC players. This will give you a big advantage over PS4 and Xbox One players. This is just really, really nice, and that's the whole reason why you bought a next-gen console or current-gen console at this point. Field of view is going to be 120, with independent and vehicle field of view being wide. Weapon field of view is going to be wide because it makes the weapon smaller. And I went a little bit more in depth with this within the PC section, but this allows you to see the environment a lot more easily. And an ADS field of view allows you to see your opponents a lot more closely while having a bigger FOV, which is nice. First person and third person camera movement should both be at 50%. If you have it at 100%, that's going to screw you over and make you have more recoil because you're going to have more camera movement, and that's not good. That's going to hurt your accuracy. Inverted flashbang is going to be off or on depending on your preference, whether you want your screen to be white or black so that it looks like you're turning off your PC or console or whatever. And then everything else here is personal preference. So let's go ahead and move on to the audio settings back on my PC. And now we're back on my PC, and let me go ahead and give you guys my audio settings. So when it comes to audio, I like the audio mix of PC speaker, but of course this is only on PC. If you want to, on console, I heard home theater is like the best one. But honestly, any of these could work really well. But home theater is what I heard is really the best one on console. Or headphones based, because that's what I used to use when I played more on console. So use a PC if you're on PC, you know, speaker audio, or whatever you want. At that point though, we gotta go to the volumes here, and we gotta have that master volume at 100. But we're gonna have that gameplay music volume all the way low, because we don't want to hear any music. Music distracts us from the main things that we're trying to hear, like footsteps and callouts and like that. So have that low. Dialogue volume just allows you to hear callouts, you know, people talking or whatever the case is, and they could say like cruise missile inbound or airstrike inbound or VTOL inbound, and that way you can kind of prepare for whatever is, you know, going on. FX volume, you got to have that all the way up. This allows you to hear footsteps, somebody freaking reloading, walking. This will allow you to pretty much make the ultimate plays and be a better player, because that's how you want your audio to be balanced to make the plays that you gotta make. Voice chat volume is kind of personal preference. Some people have some really messed up mics, so I definitely don't have it at 100. You know, maybe I might put it more at 50, but 60 sounds good, so I can hear my opponents raging or somebody trying to talk to me a lot more effectively. And then cinematic music volume, I think, doesn't apply it to multiplayer. I think it's more like cinematics within like campaign or something, but I just keep it low. And then moving on, voice chat on. I think this is all personal preference here. Microphone mode. Subtitles. If you want subtitles on, you definitely can. I just leave it on default here because I just want them in campaign. But when it comes to multiplayer and zombies, when it comes to multiplayer specifically, if I wasn't a content creator, I would have it on, because being able to read something instead of hear something, you respond more quickly to something visual, you know? At least I would think most humans do. Because sometimes Call of Duty has a lot of action inbound and some callouts get delayed or whatever the case is, but with, you know, reading subtitles, they're pretty much put out there as soon as possible, which is really nice to see. So I recommend having them on, and if you're not a content creator, I just don't have them on because it kind of makes the games look ugly, and it's more for your guys' viewing pleasure, but I recommend having them on personally. And then reduced tinnitus sound, I recommend having that on so that you know, any sounds might not be as annoying to you. And I think that's it here. Now let's go to the interface settings. And once again, at the interface settings here, we've already talked about, you know, all the subtitle stuff here. Color customization, these are my colors. I pretty much left it on default. The game's visibility has been a lot better, so I think you should be fine with these default colors. I might, you know, update that in the future. HUD bounds are up to you. Minimap shape, I recommend square. If you're running on circle or round, you're losing out because you're not giving yourself the maximum amount of surface area, and a square has more surface area than a circle, allowing you to see more of the environment, especially when you have UAVs and constant fire, you know, because minimaps do matter in this game because you can see the gunfire on the red dots. Minimap rotation on, horizontal compass on, even though it might be a little bit, what's it called, you know, not needed because the minimap does work in this game. It's just nice to have it on in case you're like countered, because the compass doesn't get countered, which is really nice. Crosshair static, which is nice. You want to make sure to have them on, but also have them static so that your crosshairs aren't all wobbly and stuff. And then when it comes to crosshair dot and center dot, that I like having them on, as well as largest, so I can just, you know, see that always, you know, allowing me to get a better aim in a sense. You know, even though it's kind of placebo. And everything else here is pretty much default, if I'm not mistaken. Telemetry, I like having FPS on just so I know how many frames I have. Server latency and packet loss to know if I'm lagging. And then everything else is personal preference here. And I think that might be it. Yeah, those are the best MW3 settings for console, PC, whatever the heck you're playing on, Steam Deck. And yeah, I hope you guys are ready for a great year of MW3. I dropped over 1,200 nukes during the lifetime of MW2, and hopefully I can do something similar here with MW3. Hopefully you guys, you know, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. These settings help you. You don't have to use all of them. You know, use whatever the ones that you think will help you. But at the end of the day, you are going to be the determiner of how well you play the game. Just thank you for being here. You're absolutely incredible and watching the video. And I hope I can see you for the rest of the year here while I make some good content. Check me out on all my socials, and just keep being big ballers. What is your impression of Modern Warfare 3 so far? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll have like a bunch of videos for the rest of today. So have those noties on. I'm going to be spamming your sub boxes here on the main channel, on my second channel, More Hero. And I can't wait to see how this year ends up for us. I really freaking love you all.